Okay, this is what I will be presenting on this fridge. So let's get to it. All right, good afternoon. My name is Emily Dowdy, and I live in Norfolk, Virginia with my husband, my daughter, and my 2 dogs. I have an interest in law and American studies. However, after taking this class, I realized that I actually enjoy science, so that's something to consider. I've taken many speech classes in the past since that's a big part of my major, but it's been a while, so please bear with me. So the case that I've decided to research today is about the nuclear explosion repressing facility in Tomsk-7 in 1993. I've chosen this environmental justice case because I attended an international boarding school with a girl whose parents were actually exposed to the radiation from this horrific accident. She told me that both of her parents were employed there, and it was just a whole ordeal. So, on April 6th of 1993, and bear with me with the words, I will show you a voice recording at the end that I got my friend to send me of how to pronounce these words perfectly, but we'll see. Seversk, or Tomsk, Russia, otherwise known as the Secret City, endured a horrible explosion that exposed 177,000 people to high levels of radiation. In Tomsk, there are several nuclear reactors and chemical plants for separation enrichment and the reprocessing of uranium and plutonium. Due to the high production of weapon-grade plutonium and uranium at the facility, many other accidents have occurred and have caused radioactive waste to be released into the environment not once, but multiple times. Although the cause of the explosion is not certain, it is thought to have happened due to the lack of compressed air that mixed with nitric acid, uranium, and plutonium. The mixture began to overheat and reach critical temperatures, causing the massive explosion. The explosion affected many people's health due to being exposed to the radiation. However, more serious cases were caused by swallowing or breathing in the debris from the explosion. These were shown to have caused cancer and uranium damages to the kidneys and other major internal organs. Most affected by the nuclear fallout were the villages of Georgieva and Nadezhda. Like I told you, it's not going to be great. Radioactive snowfall began days after the explosion and created massive hotspots with radiation levels up to 100 times the normal background radiation. 26 people of the village of Georgievka that suffered severely from the explosion decided to file a lawsuit. However, 14 of the 26 people ended up dying, and the people that were left alive were only granted $850 for all the trauma and harm to their body that they endured. Crazy. Slowly, the city helped to clean up what was remained from the accident and continued to test for high levels of radiation. However, military helicopters began dumping the accumulated waste and chemicals into the marshes, and they would actually directly dump them into the soil and put them in like uncovered pools, and it would affect the water and soil levels around the city. In 2008, a study found that there were increased levels of plutonium in the soils and the water, and that most actually affected by the nuclear radiation from the waste that had been dumped in Tomsk. Since 1993, the citizens and environmentalists of Tomsk and the surrounding cities have begged and have tried to get people to stop depositing the waste and whatnot into the soil, but it's still occurring. So that's really sad. This event is extremely important because not only does it affect the day-to-day lives of people that were involved, but this kind of thing happens more than it should, and it will continue to happen if proper precautions are not taken. The lesson that I have learned from this case was that chemical plants do not need to be close to any major city or civilization. There needs to be strict safety regulations, scheduled inspections, and proper ventilation, amongst other things that is required by the facility. Workers need to be specifically trained on what to do if something like a chemical explosion were to occur, and the proper disposal of the waste needs to be handled, not in the soil. Since I know someone whose parents were affected by the radiation exposure, this case has always been seemingly interesting to me. I did not study it to its full extent until this research assignment. However, what surprised me more than anything was how the military and other workers of the plants and the people who deal with the waste are still continuously dumping these chemicals into the soil and causing even more radiation to be exposed. Another shock to me was that after the lawsuits, the people who sued only ended up receiving $850 for everything that happened. To me, it's blasphemy. Well, let's get into this. Hopefully we can see. So this is after the explosion. The workers who were supposed to clean it up were in their hazmat suits, obviously in their masks. They were trying not to breathe in any of the debris. Obviously, they still did. It affected a lot of people and it hurt them, caused deaths, you know. And this is right after all this happened. Okay, this is Tomsk. This is the plant where this problem or this explosion occurred. This was before the explosion. It looks like a normal plant, but as you can obviously see, this is surrounding civilization, which is not a smart thing. Take this one down. Okay, this is, I think they said 3 days after the explosion. Environmentalists were going and they were taking pictures and they were testing all the samples to make sure that radiation had died down. Okay, it's pretty crazy to see all of the debris and everything from the explosion. This is giving insight to where exactly the site is in relation to the other surrounding cities that were affected. Georgievka, whatever. And Nadezhda and Tomsk, whatever. They were all really, really affected. And then my dog has chewed this up, has quite literally chewed my homework. This is the warning sign for whenever you get close to the site. Obviously, it's in Russian, and it didn't do that much good, I should say. It didn't do that much good, did it? And then I have a copy of the radiological release accident forms, and I can attach this as well to the project. But it's just the official forms of what happened. And it's actually interesting to see the direct writing of what they think caused the explosion. Now I will present the recording that my friend sent me of how to pronounce these words correctly. So here we go.
Okay, so to be honest, the first one is going to be the hardest one. It's pronounced Georgievka.
Georgievka.
So you say
Georgievka.
Then the next one, it's Tomsk.
Tomsk.
And then the last one is Nadezhda.
Nadezhda. I butchered those, but I hope that you enjoyed my presentation, and it was extremely interesting to research all these facts to the explosion. I hope this kind of thing doesn't happen again, but it is inevitable with how many plants are around the world. But as I said before, I think the proper precautions just need to be taken for it to be safer for everyone involved. Thank you so much.